Hey everyone, welcome to the KetonExpress Summit. Today we are here with Jen Fisch from Keto in the City, and we are so excited to talk to her today. So Jen is the creator of the blog Keto in the City, and she's also the author of the soon-to-be-released cookbook, the Easy 5-Ingredient Ketogenic Diet Cookbook, which we're going to talk about. And she's passionate about offering simple solutions for following the ketogenic lifestyle. She is a single working mom, and she's battled autoimmune disorders for 20 years, and she's turned to the kitchen to find simple, delicious ways to make the ketogenic diet work for her and her busy lifestyle. She's also a top influencer in the ketogenic space on Instagram and through her blog. She's not a nutritionist or a trained chef. She's just a determined mom who searched high and low for a way of eating that would reduce the inflammation caused by her autoimmune diseases and allow her to feel like the very best version of herself. And she now lives with her daughter in Hermosa Beach, California. So welcome, Jen. So glad to have you on the summit today.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to talk about all things keto.
Yes, awesome. So tell us about your keto journey. How did you discover the ketogenic diet, and how's it changed your life?
Sure. So I've been keto for 23 months now. In January, it'll be 2 years. And I came to keto kind of like a long winding road, I guess. Prior, probably about 10 years back, I first discovered Atkins Diet. I was actually referred to it from an acupuncture doctor that I was going to at the time, who thought that getting rid of sugar would help the inflammation on my skin from my psoriasis and also in my joints from my psoriatic arthritis. So I did an Atkins type version, low carb diet, higher protein, lower fat, and it worked really well compared to like a standard American diet. I did that for a long time, kind of on and off. And then I kind of, I guess, fell off the low carb bandwagon for a while. But then I started having some more issues again and just kept looking for solutions. I tried gluten-free for about 6 months before I discovered keto. And then ever since, I've been keto and loving it, and really discovered that the key for success for me has been that higher fat, more moderate protein combination versus the high protein, low carb diets I've done.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So you did have some success with the Atkins diet and you were feeling better. Isn't that interesting though, how we sometimes start to feel better and then we like second guess it. We're like, it's just a fluke thing. And then you had to kind of go off to get back to see the difference.
I do that a lot because sometimes even when my medications will start working or something, it's almost like you think, oh, well, I don't have any issues anymore, instead of realizing, wait, no,
let's keep going.
I have the issues. I was making them better, and now I've like gone back to old behavior and made them worse again. So
yeah. Well, I'm just glad you shared that, because I think it's important for our audience to realize that too, that, just because you start feeling better doesn't mean you jump off the bandwagon. You stay on it and keep going, because you're going to feel better, right?
Yes, you have to stay on it. So that's what I've been working on now. And luckily the last, 23 months, I've been going strong, and I have committed to doing this for the rest of my life. So.
Oh, that's amazing. I love it. So what was the hardest thing about going ketogenic for you?
I think the difficult part in the beginning is always the temptation around you. So previously, when I had done low carb, I was the only one doing it. I didn't have my daughter doing a low carb diet, but a month into keto, I decided to get rid of everything out of our house that was not ketogenic friendly. And I decided at that time, I was like, she can eat other foods when we're out to eat, and she has different options, or at school or whatever. But in the house, I felt like it was really important that I only had keto-friendly food just for me. Because otherwise, it's, I tend to work late at night. So it's 11 o'clock at night, and there's something staring right at you, and it's just really hard to pass that up. So for me, that was definitely a key in the beginning. I, powered through the first month, but then after that, I was like, no, I'm going to clean all this stuff out. So that was probably
that's really good.
Yeah. I think that was the biggest one. And then you just start looking for different things. I was starting to look for different brands or researching different options. And that's really where the Instagram came in. Again, I started that a month after I started keto. And so then that gave me great inspiration from other people that were posting things, but also kind of pushed me to like look for different options that other people might find value in. I eat out a lot. And so that was one of the biggest things, is like, I need to be able to do this when I eat out, not just when I can control everything around me.
Yeah, very cool. I love it. Good stuff. And so what's been the hardest thing about sticking with the ketogenic diet? Like you talked about eating out and having a daughter.
Yeah.
What's been the hardest thing about sticking with it?
I think the hardest part, for me, it's been a lot easier this time because I really believe that eating the higher fat makes you more satiated. So I do feel like it's been a lot easier for me to stick to this versus when protein, I felt like I was always hungry. And so this has been easier, but I think definitely when I travel, if I don't remember to like pack snacks or different things, we travel quite a bit. Whether it's my daughter plays volleyball over the country or I'm traveling for work or whatever the case may be. I think that's probably the trickiest, or when you're eating at a place that you weren't expecting. So you're at like a friend's gathering or something like that. A lot of that just comes down to planning. Yeah. So in the beginning, you might not be as used to planning. And as you go along in it, you learn that that's really key for you to be able to be successful in like unexpected situations.
That totally makes sense. I can see how that is probably for everybody the most challenging part, just that planning ahead and making sure that you've either eaten something keto before or you have something keto where you're going to eat.
Yes, that's where, like luckily I like to cook. So bringing a lot of things with me, or not being afraid to ask questions at restaurants. I definitely got probably some sauces or different things early on that I should have asked what was in it. And then you kind of realize like, oh, I'm not feeling so great. There must have been something in there that I didn't know. But all of it, I think like as long as people aren't too hard on themselves, I think it's a lot of the questions I get, it seems like people are really hard on themselves in the beginning of keto. Instead of
very strict, right?
Yeah, like thinking about it as a journey, and you keep learning new things and you keep learning new tricks. That's why I'm always like, I don't know everything about keto, but if there's something that somebody asks me that I don't know, there's like luckily a lot of ways to research it now, or just look into it and figure out what works best for you. And I think it's really helpful that people don't be too hard on themselves in the beginning and just kind of be open to learning as you go.
Yeah, it's about the process, right? And improvement along the way.
Yes.
So tell us, what are the biggest improvements that you've seen with your health as you've kind of gone through this last 2 years?
Yeah, well, definitely, I'm not sure how everyone else feels, but since I have 2 autoimmune disorders and one presents itself in my joints, definitely the systematic inflammation that I guess naturally have, and everybody has, but maybe all in different ways, in my gut and also in my joints, almost instantly felt remarkably better within like the first week or 2 of keto, so that's really kind of what my main motivation is making sure that my body feels well enough that I can do all of the things I want to do. So just doing normal life and being able, I'm like busy like 14, 15 hours a day, making sure that I can keep up with that and do the stuff that I love. So for me, that's definitely the biggest advantage. Secondary advantages, I would consider like my skin feels great. I think the added fat just helps you almost look younger and healthier and happier.
It plumps up your skin. Yeah.
I think there's that effect, which is really great. And then I just have a ton of energy.
That's huge.
Say mental clarity, but I'm like a crazy single mom that's always working a million
I know,
miles.
There's no mental clarity as a mother.
But I get a lot done, so maybe in my own way I have. But I think those are definitely the biggest benefits.
Okay, very cool. I love it. That's very, it offers a lot of hope, I think, to our audience as well.
I think everyone will find different. I think the key is, not looking at keto as it's been 2 weeks and I haven't lost weight. Looking at keto as a long-term lifestyle that you will get benefits out of it that maybe you don't even like notice right away until you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, like, a year in, someone's like, you look like you're so much younger, or you look so much happier, or your skin's so bright, whatever the case may be. There's going to be advantages that you might not even see in yourself that other people are going to see in you, but you have to commit to it being like a real long-term lifestyle and not just like, I'm going to try keto for a few weeks, like that's not what it's. So I think that's
that's probably one of the biggest things that the aha that has clicked for me too, just listening to all the different experts I've been interviewing over the last few weeks here, is just exactly what you said. Like if you go at it with a viewpoint that it's just a weight loss diet,
yes,
you're going to miss out on so much more, and you're going to find yourself frustrated because weight loss is tricky, right? Your body does funny things. It'll hang on to weight for a while and then it'll let it go. And maybe it's going to take you longer to get your body into that fat burning, system that you're trying to go for here. So just like focus on something else.
Yeah, I always try to, like, when people do ask me questions related to quick weight loss or whatever, I always try to say, like, whatever it is, and I don't know what it is for everyone, but whatever your body's trying to heal from, your gut and your body's trying to heal from a lot of different things. So a normal way of eating could have potentially damaged you in different ways, and it didn't happen overnight, and it's not going to heal overnight. So you really have to be patient whenever you're switching your body in this drastic of a way. Like, it's really changing the way that your body's working. So I feel like patience is a huge important part of this. Personally, I think a couple months into keto, you'll really start to notice some real differences. And, as long as you're learning and tweaking along the way and planning on this as something that you're going to do for the long term, then I think you're in the right mindset. But I think the short, quick, wanting to see like instant inches, and some people do lose a lot of weight really quickly, but I don't think that's the only benefit. I just want people to see that a well-rounded lifestyle.
Yeah, I thank you for sharing that. That's huge. Okay, so let's talk about kids and keto. So it sounds like at home, your daughter pretty much eats what you eat. So is it hard for you to get her to eat the keto foods, or is she excited about it? Does she love the keto food?
She loves. Luckily, I've been feeding her like weird food since she was like a baby. So before she had teeth, I was giving her like salmon sashimi and like all kinds of different foods, like determined to raise a non-picky child. So luckily she'll pretty much eat anything. She loves the keto food. She was strictly keto for over a year. And then
even when you're eating out and things, you're saying?
Even eating out, she would pick keto choices. But now I've gotten a little more flexible with it because she plays volleyball like 7 days a week. And I was noticing she was having some issues, and I wasn't sure if they were food related or not. But I felt like she was kind of low energy, and she's been growing a lot. She grew like 6 inches last year.
Oh my God, that would do it.
And I felt like she needed some more healthy carbs back in her life.
Probably just calories in general. So making sure she was getting
And, so she definitely is more flexible. She probably still, though, I would guess, eats less than 75 to 100 grams of carbs a day. Because like I said, I usually cook, and all of that is keto. So it's really what she's eating at lunch or when she's at a team dinner or whatever the case may be, that she's free to do whatever. But yeah, I think it's been great. She's loved the food. Luckily, she's open to trying things. She was my chief taste tester throughout the entire cookbook process.
So we know if it's kid approved.
They're all Kaya approved, yes.
Okay.
So it's been really fun. But yeah, overall, she's great. She loves all the food. She loves tasting pretty much anything somebody will throw at her. So that's great.
So this can definitely be a lifestyle thing if you can include your kids in that. That's amazing. Awesome. So let's talk about your cookbook. Tell us first, why did you write the cookbook? And then tell us more about it and what's in it and why you're excited about it.
I'm very excited. One of the things that I noticed when I first started keto was there's a lot of weird ingredients out there, things that might not be as familiar, or like complicated recipes. Even some of the recipes I've put on my blog before have a lot of steps, and they're not maybe the easiest things for everybody to make. And during the week, especially when I don't have a lot of time, I was always going back to like some certain really simple recipes that I had. And so I was like, maybe I can do really the opposite of kind of the complicated cuisine and do like really simple, easy recipes. So
I love it.
I stuck myself to this 5 ingredient rule. So all the recipes have just 5 main ingredients. And then I have 5 pantry staples, which is ghee, butter, olive oil, salt, and pepper. So they all might have 1 or 2 of those in there also. But I wanted to show that keto, and I think this is what I try to always show, that keto is easy and can be easy and doesn't have to be this thing that's like a burden in the kitchen. It doesn't have to be complicated when you eat out. It can be a really simple solution that people can do long-term. And I think in order for people to do something long-term, it needs to be really simple. So that was my goal in trying to show that that's possible. And whether you really like to cook or you don't like to cook, anybody can make these recipes. So
very cool. And like we talked about, that comes out the beginning of January. We're actually going to be doing a giveaway here on the summit. So stay tuned, everyone. On social media, we'll be giving away a copy of this cookbook. It's called the 5-Ingredient Ketogenic Cookbook.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So tell us a little bit about some of the recipes you have in there so we know what to look forward to.
Sure. So we have different chapters, everything from breakfast to pork and poultry and fish and beef and side dishes and desserts.
So this is a big cookbook. This isn't just 5 recipes in a 5-ingredient cookbook, is it?
No, there's 125 or 130 recipes.
That's fabulous. Yeah.
Lots of recipes. I basically wrote like half the recipes in the car waiting for my daughter to get out of volleyball practice or something like that. So I was a mad woman writing recipes this summer. But one way that I like to eat, so how I wanted to make the cookbook, is that maybe you only want a side dish, or maybe you just want meat or more of a zero carb approach that day or whatever. Maybe you're looking to cut back on dairy products. So there's a wide range of recipes that are all kind of tagged if they're a 30-minute dish, or if they're a one-pot dish, or if they're paleo or vegetarian friendly, or whatever the case may be. So a lot of different things for a lot of different people, and hopefully some things people haven't tried to make before that'll be something new that they can experiment with. One of the recipes I got to release on Friday is like a Blackberry coconut chia pudding, which I had never really made anything with chia seeds prior to keto, and so it's something that I've been kind of incorporating into my diet, my daughter's diet. It's a breakfast that she really likes. So just different elements that I can show people that it's super flexible, and you can get a lot of different flavor. Flavor is really important to me, like a pack of flavor in every recipe that you make, but it doesn't have to take very long. So.
I love it. It sounds like an amazing cookbook. I know I want to get my hands on it. And like I said, we'll be giving away a copy. So you guys stay tuned for that. And then we'll also put a link.
What everybody makes and what they like.
Yeah. We'll put a link here on the video page as well, so that people can go pre-order that and get in line to get your copy at the beginning of January. So
awesome. Yeah.
All right. Jen, last question for you. What piece of advice would you leave our audience? Would you leave for someone who wants to jump into this ketogenic diet and wants to make it a way of life and improve their health? What would be your piece of advice for them to have success?
My main advice, and what's been successful for me, like I said, is just knowing what your motivation is, like really having a holistic goal in terms of how much better you're going to feel, or whether it's energy, or whether it's being able to, like myself, control inflammation. Looking at this more than a quick fix, and looking at it as a lifestyle, and really embracing all of the things that come along with that, meaning that sometimes it might be more challenging than others. The beginning is certainly going to be challenging for people at times, and a big adjustment, but kind of, I think if you go into it with that mindset, knowing that's the case, it makes it a lot easier to kind of get through some of those moments. And then I think the greatest thing about, and what this is going to show through all your different interviews, is that there is a really great community around keto, and it's something that has grown so much even in the last 2 years, and the number of resources that you can go to get information so that you can feel better prepared for it. I'm a person that jumps right into something, so I didn't necessarily prepare that much. I just was like, I can do this. I'm going to jump right in. But I think for a lot of people, there's now so many videos and resources and blogs and Instagram
cookbooks
that are out there that they are going to be able to really set themselves up for success. And I do think that that is important. Looking at it as so many different benefits that you can get from just being keto in the rest of your life that you wouldn't have imagined.
Cool. Good advice. I think that's an awesome note to end on. So thank you so much, Jen. Appreciate your time today. And we're looking forward to giving away that book. You can find her over on Keto in the City, and we'll put those links below so that you guys can go pre-order her book.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem. Have a great day, everybody.